Kingrama V, or Piya Maharaj, or the great beloved king, was highly beloved and adored. He was a developer in the country advance who could access all his subjects. His royal private travel might have been only a travel in general meaning, yet to him it had a more profound meaning. Keen travelers should follow His Majesty's proceeding routes to feel the historical atmosphere during that time. In addition, we can see the beauty of people, places, tradition and culture of the lower southern region, namely Songkhla, Narathiwat, Pattani and Ston, which were partly the royal journey to the Malayan Peninsula, totally 8 times. What we have to take into account is the transportation at the time was not as convenient as nowadays. Moreover, most of His Majesty's royal proceedings were not directly by the royal boats to the Malayan Peninsula, but he preferred going through many towns which reflect the genuine meaning of the royal proceeding. This is the worthiness of following His Majesty's proceeding trail. According to the historical records of King Rama V's travel, Songkhla, especially in Ampher Mueang nowadays, was his most frequently visiting province. There are many interesting places, particularly Machimawat Temple or Klang Temple. Every time King Chulalongkorn visited Songkhla, he would have a conversation with the abbot here and watch the murals in the Ubosot Hall. Only 300 meters from Machimawat Temple is Masjid Banbon or Banbon Mosque. His Majesty gave his financial support and had the craftsmen at Machimawat Temple decorate this mosque in accordance with his attention to foster every religion. In the vicinity, there is Tangkuan Hill, where King Chulalongkorn ascended on foot to pay homage to the pagoda on the hilltop. There is also Vihan Dang or Red Pavilion, the residing pavilion which His Majesty had ordered to complete the construction, which had been unfinished since King Mongkut. We will start our journey at the center of Ampher Mueang, Songkhla nowadays, that is Machimawat Temple, aged over 400 years old. There are many interesting things to study about it. To begin with, its name, commonly called Wat Klang, used to be Yai Si Chan Temple, after the name of the donor of the land and money. Later, there were 2 more temples, Wat Liap in the north and Wat Po in the south. Therefore, the Songkhla locals renamed this temple according to its location as Wat Klang or Klang Temple. When King Chulalongkorn's younger brother, พระเจ้าน้องยาเธอกรมหมื่นวชิรยานวโรรส in monkhood visited Songkhla in 1888, he changed to an official name Machimawat Temple, which means Wat Klang or Middle Temple in the common language. Not far from Klang Temple, situated Masjid Banbon, which has a long history as well. It had been built since 1843. The tourists can admire not only the architectural works of the same craftsman group who had renovated Klang Temple, but also the ancient pole called Bo Plap, which has been utilized until now. From Klang Temple, the next destination is Tangkuan Hill, which has now become Songkhla's viewing spot at 360 degrees. On the hilltop, we can see the land, sky, sea, and the long, stretching Tinasulanon Bridge in distance, bringing our hearts to Got Yaw or Yaw Island, our next stop. At Got Yaw, there is Lampa Temple on the bank of the lake. There had been this temple since King Rama III's reign. King Chulalongkorn used to visit here to see the furnace which manufactured water jars in Ratanakosin era 108. Its ruins can presently be seen. From Got Yaw to Ampher Singhanakon, there is Morahum Cemetery, about only 12 kilometers from Lampa Temple. It is where Sultan Sulaiman Zar, the late ruler of Songkhla, was buried. King Chulalongkorn visited here in Ratanakosin era 107. Presently, it is the cemetery for the local Muslims. Another place that we should not miss is Tepa Pairod Temple, Ampher Tepa, where there are 3 priceless Buddha statues of Tepa city. This temple was originally called Tepa Temple. However, it was renamed as Tepa Pairod by King Chulalongkorn during his royal visit here. Presently, many groups of devout Buddhists are giving a hand to renovate the temple as it has long been unattended. According to the records of the royal visit to the Malayan Peninsula, His Majesty had visited Pattani for 5 times, that is, in Ratanakosin eras 107, 108, 109, 117, and 119. He visited Lengju Kieng Shrine or Jon Lim Korneo Shrine twice and endowed an incense stick jar with his initial inscription Jopara to the shrine, giving much delight to the Thai Chinese people there. Regarding His Majesty's support of Buddhism from following the royal proceeding trail in Pattani province, we can see Tu Yong Temple as an instance of his concern. He had given 80 Chang, his personal account, to foster the temple and had inscribed his royal initial Jopara at the gable of the Ubosot Hall. Later, he rendered a new name as Mutchalintawapi Vihan Temple. This temple is surrounded by sacred archaeological and architectural constructions, such as the Buddha statue of Man Vichai's gesture of Chiang San period, stupa in the shape of an upside-down bell. The temple was given a royal name as Thani Narasamosan Temple. Then His Majesty had given a financial support in building a new pavilion in replacement of the old worn-out one. Here the tourists will see the brass inscription of the history and His Majesty's image. We can admire the interior of the Ubosot Hall. Saiburi, the old city of Pattani province, where the civilization of 3 races, Thai, Chinese, and Malayan, harmoniously integrating, is the place where His Majesty visited twice. Furthermore, there is a lot of information about each royal visit exhibited at the Learning Center established in Jon Lim Korneo Shrine. According to the written account regarding the royal visit to the Malayan Peninsula, His Majesty visited Kelantan 4 times. King Chulalongkorn's 4 royal visits at that time, coupled with his intelligence, have resulted in solving Siam's critical situation and saving the lands of Tak Bai, Wang, Sungai Padi, and Sungai Golok from being occupied by the British colonialism. Regarding the 1909 or 2452 BE Thailand-Great Britain Treaty, Thailand had raised the location where Chontara Singhe Temple is situated in Ampher Tak Bai as an evidence of Thai existence and of being Buddhist to oppose to the British occupation. The Great Britain had to acquiesce due to this account. Although Thailand had to surrender the lands of Saiburi, Kelantan, Trengganu, and Perlis at that time, we could save the above-mentioned lands. Today, when we visited Chontara Temple, we can feel the sense of being Thai pervading in every particle of the atmosphere. The Ubosot Hall in Ratanakosin style, the late abbot's residence in local Thai style, including Kuti Siddhisan Pradit, totally reflect the glorious civilization and the pride of our national history. We should visit here once in our lifetime. Back to Ratanakosin era 109 during the royal travel to the west coast provinces. Before proceeding to Langkawi Island, then was a precinct of Siam, King Chulalongkorn not only passed the Rutao Island but also spent a night in the royal boat in the north of the Rutao Island. The next day, His Majesty traveled in the island until 2300 hours before proceeding to Langkawi Island. At Tarutao, besides admiring the exotic beauty of nature, either on the land or in the sea, from fertile forest, fauna and flora including the sea with plenty of colorful coral and various sea animals, tourists will feel another historical atmosphere which may chill our hearts. We would profoundly understand the meaning of abandoned in an island. The island during 1936 to 1948 used to be a prison for political and severe prisoners with an intention to cut them off from the outside world. The period of World War II was the severest moment of suffering for these abandoned prisoners. Consequently, they turned to be pirates plundering the passing cargo ships. They were arrested by the Thai police in cooperation with the British soldiers in Malaysia. Throughout the royal journey in Malayan Peninsula, as stated, it has reflected the state of the king who had dedicated himself to his beloved subjects who wholeheartedly loved him. His Majesty proceeded to many cities for various beneficial deeds. For instance, he performed his obligations as a foster of all religions to unite all hearts of different nationalities living together in the kingdom. Despite the land surrounded by water, be it the Thai property, His Majesty would not hesitate to visit with great concern. Moreover, when the country was in hardship, all the local information His Majesty himself had acquired became a secured protection to protect the kingdom from the colonial intrusion. Every record and every trace today are forever valuable and meaningful to all Thai whose hearts have the opportunity to feel them.